You are on India Today podcasts and you are in the Sledging Room.
I can promise you is that there are no glitches with the Sledging Room celebrating, almost about to celebrate our first anniversary. And look, like Anna promised, cake, coffee, savories from the best bakery in town. It's all right here. I mean, you can't see it, but it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, so what if we are among the top ranked cricket podcasts in the country, celebrating our first year?
Yeah. So what if our producer can't even get us a cake?
I saw her eating cake at lunch. Every second day there is cake, there is coffee around her table, but she doesn't even offer us anything. So
We'll make do with whatever we have, like India are doing in England right now.
India doing in England. What are they doing? They watched the FA Cup final.
Yes.
I think they practiced
Yeah.
somewhere in between.
In
Virat
Sussex.
Kohli's interview, I mean, there was this
Yeah.
sharp interview where he's talking of respect from Australia.
Yeah.
Plenty more. So this Sledging Room is special. This is why we're bringing to you a special episode a day before. We usually come to you every week, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I said, we are celebrating our first anniversary of the Sledging Room. We are also looking at the World Test Championship final, the greatest test match you could have hoped for in your dreams. You know, this is like salivating. These are salivating prospects.
For a lot of us, that would be India versus Pakistan in a lot.
Oh, come on. Pakistan is not even competition.
It's
It's
not in Test cricket.
Yeah.
In Test cricket, it's India versus Australia, biggest right now.
Exactly. I mean, a lot of Aussie cricketers would have you believe that
Yeah.
this is bigger than the Ashes, but when they go to the Ashes,
Yeah.
they go back into history and into different kind of.
Like Raj, England played one Ashes warm-up against Ireland. Are Australia also thinking on the same lines?
Look, Australia will have to think on a lot of different lines, especially because they have not won a single series against India since 2016.
Yes.
Alan Border was pissed with these guys
Yeah.
for being too friendly. And, you know, he said Steve Smith
Mm.
would do a thumbs up every time he got a good delivery. Alan Border wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I mean, the Border Gavaskar Trophy, obviously named after Alan Border, an Australian great, Indian great. But there's plenty. For starters, India haven't won an ICC tournament in 10 years.
Yeah.
Australia, they won the T20 World Cup 2 years back. They want to add to their
Yeah.
silverware collection before the ODI World Cup, by the way, which is also in India.
Yeah.
So it's an exciting scenario. The most exciting scenario is India and Australia facing off in another ICC final after 2003.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was in school, and to see India were destroyed in that final. That was a different Indian team. That was a different Australian team also.
Yes.
But the crux of the matter is, Saurabh, Akshay, these Aussies perhaps a little are they softies?
Like Raj, like 4 years ago, if you see.
You
four
never
to
answer a
six-
straight question.
6 years ago, if you see,
Hmm.
India and Australia had one of the most hostile series in India
Yeah.
when Virat Kohli and Steve Smith, went head to head. And Virat Kohli even said in a press conference that I don't have any friends from Australia. I will not be friends with them.
And the Aussies responded.
Yes. but 6 years later, they are like Virat Kohli said, the what is that? The tension in the air, which he called the tension in the air, has reduced a bit, it seems. But I don't see the rivalry, that great Ganguly
No, but
Steve
I don't
rivalry.
agree. I don't agree. I mean, Virat Kohli said that in one of his interviews
Yeah.
recently.
But do you think
But
the
I
Ganguly
don't-
Steve rivalry, the Virat Kohli Steve Smith rivalry, these guys? No, I don't think that rivalry
I
is there
think
anymore.
I think it's become a little too soft,
Yeah.
and sometimes it just makes me cringe watching all
Yes.
Mm.
that drama unfold. I mean, it's melodrama. Look, Saurabh, you're talking about 7 years back, 6 years back, even in 2018-19, Tim Payne and Virat Kohli,
Yeah.
they had a go at each other.
Yes.
Rishabh Pant had a go at Tim Payne. I mean, look at the hierarchy. Tim Payne having a go at Virat Kohli, Rishabh Pant having a go at Tim Payne. It was insane. I mean, where's the battle? Where's the man-to-man battle? But I mean, Matthew Wade got a little riled up.
Yes, he did.
India's pacers were on fire, were very peppy. That was the team that Virat Kohli had shaped, and that was their year of deliverance. They said, okay, this is what we have now. This is our best. Now we want to show the world that we can do it. That was also in Australia without Warner and Smith.
Yes.
But a few years later, when India went to Australia, Virat Kohli came back home for the birth of his child. There were many, many injuries. right? By the time you headed to Brisbane, I think you had to pick up bowlers from your net compartment
Yeah,
too.
I think Rajan did make his debut.
Natraj and Siraj and
Yes.
Washington Sundar.
We had a lot of debutants and they
Exactly.
performed.
And that was against a full strength Australia.
Yes. In Australia.
Warner was back, Smith was back, the 3 Aussie pacers, Nathan Lyon. But all said and done, I mean, has this really softened up over the last 3 or 4 years?
It has.
Why? Is it because of the IPL?
I think a lot has to do with IPL and the T20 leagues also. So when players are sitting with each other, having a cup of coffee, eating dinner together when they come for IPL, these tournaments have helped them gel up. And after that, I don't think they have this kind of rivalry. For example, do you guys remember when MS Dhoni's interview came just before this IPL started? And MS Dhoni was talking about his first IPL and his experience of dealing with Matthew Hayden. So Dhoni said, I thought Matthew Hayden will come, he will be angry, he will abuse people, but he was very nice, he was very good. So when you get to know people, things change.
Perception
breaks. And yes, Australians have gone too much soft, not only in India, even when last time the Ashes happened, or even you will see from 16th of June we will have Ashes this year also. You will see the Australian English players, they are calling each other mates, which you have not seen earlier.
You know, sometimes you get the feeling that the Indians want to rile them up, the Aussies.
Yes.
It's just not happening. It's like, it's simple tactics, right? The Aussies don't want to rile up Virat Kohli. They don't want to talk to him.
And they say that publicly.
They say
that
publicly. And Virat doesn't like it.
That kind of is very un-Australian, right? But have they found success with that tactic?
Maybe against Virat Kohli. Because you look at his past records, he was phenomenal in Australia in 2014-15.
Yes.
Played some gutsy knocks in 2018-19. In between 2016-17, Virat Kohli flopped. But maybe that was due to exhaustion, to the kind of wickets. Because that was at the end of a long extended home summer. Home season for Test cricket. And that was one of Virat Kohli. That was a landmark watershed year for Kohli. And even then it was quite hostile. You're talking of friendly behavior. I mean, look at that Bangalore Test match in 2016-17. And the tensions were so apparent. Yeah. That DRS cheating allegation.
Virat nearly called Steve Smith a cheater in that series, right?
I mean, you're saying that, but the Sledging Room does not endorse your...
No. I'm saying he
twisted
called.
mind.
Nearly called.
No, he didn't.
You know what? The last flag
He was upset that Steve Smith did that.
Yeah.
I mean, gestured towards the dressing room to seek the other side.
I think one of the reporters asked him, "Are you saying this is cheating?" He said, "You are saying that I'm."
You're saying
Yes, exactly. But he did not say it.
Yeah.
I think the Aussies have gone out of the way to be friendly. I mean,
the last flag bearer of that Australian aggression was Tim Payne.
Yeah.
But he needled India unnecessarily in that 2021 series. And
Like
Rohit
backfired.
And
backfired big time.
Rohit did that to Mitchell Starc many years back.
Yes.
2014,
Yes.
and he suddenly came out and blasted 88 and it was all over for India because India
But the way Ajinkya Rahane's team handled that,
quiet resilience.
yes, that they talked with the bat.
Look, you're going to get two types of Indian teams. One which can fight back
Yes.
after a flurry of verbal abuses. The other, I think, more in tune with Virat Kohli School of Test cricket. They want to be abused.
Yes.
They want not abused, maybe, but they want to be sledged.
Right.
So that
They
can
want
just
to rile them up.
yes, and that's how Virat Kohli
And that
enjoys
brings
it.
out the best of them.
I mean, too friendly Pat Cummins,
Yeah,
too politically correct.
The home series, like before the IPL, that was one of the most mellowed down India-Australia series I've ever seen.
This is to do with the sandpaper gate.
Yes.
The ethics committee after that, when they asked Australia to mend their ways on the field, and suddenly there were bizarre moments where Tim Payne would lead his men to shake hands with the opposition before a test match. That was just, a lot of people, by the way, a lot of former Australian cricketers also were miffed with it. And what is this nonsense? You are out here to do battle. I mean, ask the old hard nuts like Ian Chappell and Ravi Shastri, they'll tell you, you are, in the middle of a battle when you're playing test cricket and you're shaking hands. I'm sorry. That is
not done actually.
Yeah.
Are we all on the
Is
same
it
page
taken?
on this?
Is this? Yeah, I think so. Is this taken?
Oh, finally we're on the same page.
What, for a change? I mean, yeah. But has this taken the spice out of India's?
The home series, it was till the time Steve Smith took over as captain, stand-in captain. I thought it was like a lifeless series where India
Yes.
were dominating.
I remember.
The Australian players giving thumbs up to Indian bowlers.
I remember Akshay and I were talking before Pat Cummins left for Australia, and we were saying it was better that we played Bangladesh. That was a more interesting series.
Exactly. Right before that, we played Bangladesh
Yes.
and came. Yeah.
And
yeah.
Bangladesh gave
In
us
fact,
tough fight.
weren't there instances of a couple of players going to Ashwin near the swimming pool, and
Exactly.
there were words exchanged. Imagine Bangladeshi Test cricketers coming and trying to rile Ashwin up, and here you have.
So we have got the headline for our producer. Now, is India versus Bangladesh more fierce and rival, more hotly contested than India versus Australia?
Just because she didn't get you cake on your first anniversary of the Sledging Room doesn't mean that you publicly defame her as a cricket illiterate.
No.
She is not.
Going by, are we making this claim that India was...
Nobody made that claim. Who on earth made
We were
that claim?
talking about something
Yeah.
which we talked.
It was
before.
okay, it was fiery, it
You
was
are
more fiery.
you are patting Sabyasachi's ego.
Exactly.
Sabyasachi, for
Sabyasachi,
the uninitiated, is a
Yeah.
vital member of the team.
Yeah. And he is...
Believes Bangladesh is perhaps greater than the Invincibles
yes.
that Australia were back in the 1940s. So,
Yeah. And he's someone who has publicly announced that he'll not get married
until Bangladesh win the World Test
wins an ICC
Championship.
trophy. An ICC trophy.
I thought it was more categorically the World Test Championship.
Now that we have said it, Sabya, if you're hearing this, you have to live up to
So
this.
they will hear this.
You have to keep up the word, you have to walk the talk.
But
Yeah.
will the final
Yeah.
spice things up a little bit, because it's neutral venue. Also, to our listeners and our viewers, India have won 2 test matches at the Oval. Australia have won 7, but that's also because Australia have played a lot more
Yes.
at the Oval, as you would expect. Ashes
Yes.
and repeated tours of India, repeated series between England and Australia many, many years back.
And India won their last test match.
Exactly.
While Australia didn't.
Yes.
Australia won.
2019.
Australia have lost that match by a
Yes.
huge margin. I think it was they lost that by 135 runs.
Yes.
India won by 157 runs. Australia were blown away by Jofra Archer. England were blown away by Shardul Thakur. Sunny, bright and sunny as of now. That's London.
Yes.
But again, with London,
before you go to the conditions, before you talk
no,
about
I'm not.
weather,
I'm not talking
for
about
the
I'm
first
talking about
time in a
spice.
good context,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to just make this. You asked whether the final will be fired up, will be more spicy. I think Australia will be determined to get there because last cycle of the World Test Championship, if you remember right,
Yeah.
they were docked a couple of points
Yes.
for overrate or something,
And that's how they missed out.
and that's how they missed the final.
And who did they have to watch?
New
New
Zealand.
Zealand.
New
Yes.
Zealand.
They're Trasman like
Australia have
rivals.
rivals the world over. We are the nice guys.
Yes, of course. Sitting Pakistan is wanting. Pakistan
We
wants
are
to
the nice guys.
beat you guys and give themselves a good standing. Bangladesh are wanting. So getting it back to the point, they missed the final berth in the last cycle by a small margin. And Australia have always taken pride in winning ICC tournaments, be it their men's team, their women's team.
What do you mean India haven't taken pride?
As in, they're serial winners. Is what I'm gonna say. Has your men's team won as many ICC titles than Australia has?
My men's team has
As Indian
not
women's
won
team.
as
Okay.
many.
That's where I'm coming. So after missing that and after losing 3 back-to-back series to India, they will be determined to get things going. And
4 back-to-back. Four successive. 2016.
Yes.
2 at home, 2 away.
Yeah.
And 2 at home will hurt them most. And before the Ashes, they would want to make a statement. If they lose this and go to the Ashes, they know they'll get battered by Ben Stokes and Brendan.
No, but India also lost the World Test Championship final to New Zealand. They
Yes, and then
battered
went to
England.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's going to be different.
No, that
Yeah.
England
Context
side was a
already.
completely different
And
side.
that Indian side was also a completely different side.
Yes.
You have
That
to
Indian
agree.
side was also completely different.
Yes.
side.
Yes.
Yes. So a lot of different equations. So what I am wanting to say here is Australia will be fired up, and I will not be surprised if this test match brings back the memories of those old spicy.
So you think Australia will stop being softies now?
No, I don't think. Yes, they will want to win the game, but they'll play fair and square,
Yeah.
and they will be the softies they have been in the last 6-7 years.
So is this what Virat Kohli said? Is this what he meant when he said that look, we've earned a lot more respect? He said
We
something
can't
on
be
the
taken
lines of the
lightly.
rivalry has turned into respect. I
Yes.
couldn't quite understand what he meant by that, but
Yeah.
what I think he meant is to say that look, that needling has taken a
Yeah.
back step because
Yeah.
of the kind of success India have had in
Yeah.
Australia.
And
And probably Australia are a little more fearful of India now.
yes.
Across conditions,
Yeah.
because you know,
Exactly.
you weigh your records in England, recent records, and you suddenly see that Virat Kohli had a fantastic season in England in 2018. India had lost that series 1-4,
Yes.
but they ran England very close, and then they went and drew that series, including that Birmingham, the rescheduled test match
Yeah.
in Birmingham. So India have now started boasting of a good record in England. And if it's not cold, by the way, at the Oval, remember in 2021 it was a lifeless pitch. India played only that one spinner in Jadeja, and he was phenomenal. Didn't pick up too many wickets, 3 wickets I think across the test match at the Oval. I think he picked 3 wickets, one in the first, but his control was superb.
Yes.
That kind of helped the Pacers build that kind of pressure. Shardul Thakur coming in and picking those 2 wickets, Bumrah successive wickets in the second innings.
Like you said, with spinners, especially in English conditions, we need to look at the control that they can offer.
Yes, exactly.
You know, they have to be the perfect second fiddle to in a bowling partnership. Right?
And maybe they're not going to be wicket-taking options. You know,
Yes.
it's the kind, because you know when Jadeja bowled that spell, it just that's when we started talking about it. That you're not necessarily looking at a spinner or 2 spinners as wicket-taking options, but then you also bring the bulk of the work, because the Oval, remember conditions, and from what we remember in 2021, it was a very lifeless pitch. Pretty poor batting by the Indian top order on the first day till Shardul Thakur came and hit that 50. Virat Kohli hit a 50 up top. England started brilliantly, but they fell apart. They had a 99-run lead, if I'm not mistaken, and then that Rohit Sharma 100 runs again from Virat Kohli, and then another half century from Shardul Thakur. I think Rishabh Pant also hit a 50 till the Indian Pacers came and destroyed them. And again, Jadeja bowled 30 overs in that second innings. Superb control. I think he went for less than 60, 50 odd runs. So that is the kind of control you're talking about. To talk of control, you also have Ashwin,
Yes.
who can do that for you. So is that going to be something that the Indians will bear in mind? Because you also need to be looking at that playing 11
Yes.
and, you know, also bolster your batting lineup that way.
What would you do? What would you do?
See-
Would you play Ashwin and Jadeja both, or would you play 5 bowlers?
So I was listening to Ian Bell yesterday. Ian Bell said that this is the first time in the history of Old Test Cricket Stadium, the Kia Old Test Cricket Stadium, that a Test match is happening in June,
Early June.
early June. It has never happened, never ever.
Mm.
But then he was talking about the conditions, and then he also said that we all know in England when you're talking about conditions, it's not about the pitch, it's about the overseas, overcast conditions, the sunny conditions.
Yeah.
So he said, and that is what I also endorse, India must pick 2 spinners. At Oval, as you talked about Ravindra Jadeja, if one spinner can give you that success, imagine you're having Ashwin, with Australia having top order, left-handed batters in their top order.
And there is this thing also going around Ashwin that he's not playing in England. Even a fan, as an unruly fan, said on Twitter that I think you're not going to play in England, when he supported Sai Sudarshan in the IPL final, and Ashwin had to hit back at that day. I feel sorry for Ashwin because he deserved to play at least one test in that previous tour also. If you look at it, there was a bit of controversy around Ashwin being
The
benched
only
for
test
5
match that
tests.
you could have considered Ashwin for was the Oval Test match.
Yes.
But we played him in the WTC Final in 2021.
Yeah, but again, that was like overcompensating
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you knew the
It
conditions
was
there.
overcompensating.
You had 2 spinners when it was raining,
Yes.
when you knew that. You had the best batting conditions on the day that the Indian batting imploded.
I think India
On
also
the
did
final
that
day
in
of
the
the
Lord's
test
Test in 2018.
Exactly. They played Kuldeep in the test match where they could have perhaps played
Yeah.
an extra pacer.
So what
it-
would you do for this?
Conditions based, because now, as of now, London has been pretty warm. It's been bright sun.
Yeah, if you have to take a call today.
As of now, I think 2 spinners.
2 spinners.
Because for me, it's simple. We'll go with 2 spinners, and if we also have to hop on our batting, on our playing 11, I think it would be Rohit, Shubman, the 2 openers. Select themselves automatically. Pujara, Virat, Rahane coming back at number 5, again an automatic choice. I'd go with Jadeja at 6 perhaps. Then you go with, I think I'll go with Kona Bharat as my wicket keeper. I'll have Ashwin at number 8. I'll have Shardul at number 9. 10 and 11 Shami and Suraj. But it'll be a toss-up for me between Umesh and Shardul and Ashwin, depending on how the conditions are. Because are you really going to bat till number 9? Given the fragility of your top order, you cannot deny that your top order has been fragile.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli scored 186 against Australia. That was in Ahmedabad.
Shubman
Flat
scored
pitch. Shubman scored 100 on a flat pitch. I mean, your best bet would be Rohit Sharma on top because of the performances he's bolstered.
Yes.
Rahane would be determined. I mean, he scored runs. Everybody's talking about how he's done well in the IPL in his comeback. That's a whole lot of rubbish. He has also scored runs in Ranji.
Yeah, Ranji.
Pujara has obviously done well in England. So,
county.
so I think that could be more or less the playing 11. But, before you guys give me your playing 11, do both of you think that there could be room for two spinners? Because there's always such a debate around Ashwin. And to be fair, Ashwin deserves that call.
I wouldn't want to play four seamers wherever you play. Wherever you play, you pick your best bowling 11. Just for the sake of playing four seamers, if you pick both Umesh and Shardul in the 11.
Not if there are like 7 layers of cloud cover.
Yeah, but still, if there are 7 layers of crowd cover, then your three
You've done that
frontline
once.
pacers,
Exactly.
your three frontline pacers can do the job for
Yeah.
you. Get Ashwin because he has the psychological advantage against Australia. He has done well against Australia in Australia. He has done well against Australia in India.
Yeah.
The way they overthought Ashwin. Raj, you remember the hype around that BGT in India was Ashwin, getting an Ashwin
Everybody was
lookalike.
talking about Ashwin, yes.
Ashwin lookalike. So Ashwin is playing in their mind already. So get him in. And it's not that he has not done well in England. He has done well in the past. So I would go for Ashwin and Shardul or Umesh for the extra seamer spot.
I will definitely
Two
want
spinners.
Two spinners. See, it's not just about spin bowling.
Yeah.
They give your batting depth.
Yes.
And if you see the number of overseas tests which we have won,
Yeah.
it has not been mainly because of how your top order has performed.
Yes.
It has been primarily because of how your lower order has gone and performed.
Yeah.
The likes of Shardul, Ashwin, Jadeja, Shami, even Bumrah, they have scored 50 and helped you win test matches in Australia and England. So you need both of them. And I will definitely go with Shardul in England. If you ask me, I will see. He might have had a poor IPL with KKR, but that is a altogether different tournament.
Yeah.
And talking about Indian Test cricket team,
Yeah.
I want Shardul and Ashwin to play that World Test Championship final.
Playing 11?
Playing whatever, So I will talk about Rohit and Gill to open, Pujara, Kohli, Rahane. Definitely, I am going with KS Bharat.
That is one contest.
Yeah,
okay.
I will definitely go with KS Bharat. We need a very good wicketkeeper. If you are playing World Test Championship, a final of an ICC tournament against Australia.
Yeah.
Then I will have it Jadeja, Ashwin, then I have Shardul and Shami and Siraj.
I differ in one area here. I would want Ishan Kishan in. Give him a go because KS Bharat was given chances against.
Who's the better wicketkeeper? Are you
Obviously.
going with the X factor a lot of Aussies are talking about?
See,
And
KS Bharat is undoubtedly looks like a better wicketkeeper. We haven't seen much of him also. We haven't seen much of Ishan Kishan in red ball cricket. As in, I haven't seen much of Ishan Kishan in red ball cricket. But you need a chirpy character, right? You need what Rishabh Pant did in.
But a choppy character who can collect balls,
Yes.
affect dismissals,
And-
especially if you're playing two spinners.
yes, and I was looking at Ishan Kishan's Ranji stats.
Yeah.
Half of the matches which he has played, he has not played as a wicketkeeper.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that is going to be important. You can play him as a batter, but you don't have that place in the team.
Yeah.
You need a very good wicketkeeper.
You need that X factor.
And
But
imagine
can
dropping a
X
chance
factor-
against Ashwin and Jadeja when they committed this
Forget
spell.
Jadeja and drop a catch of Ashwin. Even if Ashwin thinks there was an edge,
Yeah.
maybe there wasn't.
Yes.
You're not going to be very happy to
And-
go back and see those.
And I
videos.
don't want Ishan to play this test match mainly because you can't hand him a debut in
ICC final.
IC final.
Yeah.
I don't.
I mean, you
believe that.
can, unless if you are
If
forced
you
with your-
believe that
if
his
you're-
skill, if you are that skill that
Yeah, but you're talking of X factor. People are talking about the Rishabh Pant X factor. That didn't happen overnight.
But did India miss a trick by not bringing Riddhiman Saha here?
I mean, the way Riddhiman Saha's career sort of unraveled with the Indian team after what he said about Dravid and Ganguly, I don't think he would have come back into that setup.
yes,
It's a little uncomfortable, especially when you yourself made it public that the coach said,
Yeah.
you don't have a future.
But
with
he
us.
would have given you those 30-40 runs that you're expecting from KS Bharat. And he's a gem behind the wickets. If there is cloud
But
hanging over,
nobody would have seen that, right? I mean, it's very easy to say that
No,
in
when you
perspective,
can-
but
by
that
that.
unfortunate car accident for Rishabh Pant,
Exactly.
you would have only looked at it as a second wicketkeeper for Pant. But now Bharat Kishan, I mean, there would have been no debate had Pant been fit and had he been in that squad.
Exactly.
Pant would have taken the gloves. But yes, it's what it is.
And
But
KL also, had KL been there, would you have given him the gloves?
No, I don't think. Not in Test cricket. For sure not.
Who will India miss more? Rishabh Pant or Jasprit Bumrah?
I think that's a good question. I think both.
Both.
Talking of X Factor, both these guys bring in their X Factor.
But tell me, you have to give me an option. You said at the start of the podcast that
Rishabh Pant.
we give.
I think Rishabh Pant, because you have the pace attack. I'm not saying that Bumrah won't be missed. He will be a big hole to fill in that pace attack. But then you have that kind of backup. But do you have another batter like Rishabh Pant in Test cricket? I mean, the way he comes and scores with 80-90 runs quickly. Yeah. No, you don't.
But what if India's top order fires this time, right? For a change?
Good. We'll be bringing the next episode of the podcast.
Very happy if that happens.
As World Test champions.
Because you see, with Rishabh Pant, when he's not there, we are talking about two players, KS Bharat, Ishan Kishan. Both of them have not actually performed even half of what Rishabh Pant has done. I'm not talking about I'm talking about the caliber of Rishabh Pant. I'm talking about the caliber of these two. With Bumrah, yes, Bumrah is your main pacer when he's fit, but when he's not there, you have Siraj and Samir to fill in for them.
Yeah. Quickly before we go, is this India's best chance? Saurabh, I'll start with you to break an ICC trophy jinx. A 10-year-old jinx. Again, for the uninitiated, India won the Champions Trophy in 2013. Before that, 2 years before that, they won the ODI World Cup in 2011. 4 years before that, they won the T20 World Cup in 2007. So in 6 years, they won 3 ICC
5
trophies.
years before that, we shared an ICC Champions Trophy with
Sri Lanka. That was many years back. And then
2002, I think.
Since 2013, how many finals have we reached? We've reached the 2014 T20 World Cup final. We've reached the Champions Trophy 2017 final.
And
we've reached the 2021 World Test Championship final. 3 finals.
Who was
no
the last
success.
India captain to win an ICC title in men's cricket?
MS Dhoni, the man who won IPL.
I thought you were about to say Virat Kohli.
Under 19.
Yes.
Is this India's best chance to break
It
that
is.
jinx?
It is the best chance we can get. We are playing Australia. I'm not saying Australia an easy opponent, but you have that mental edge over Australia.
Yes.
If you see in the last 6 years, we have played 16 tests against Australia in India and in Australia. They have won just 4 of them. We have won 8. 4 were drawn.
Yeah. That's a long domination.
50% winning record.
Yeah.
That is something
And
which...
And don't lie because before the show started, you said something else.
Yeah.
Do you really believe that India can break the jinx?
Yes.
Don't lie. You said this wasn't your answer.
No, but yeah.
So,
You said you have no
Akshay is
hope.
known for U-turns, right?
Yeah. You said you have no hope.
But fair arguments, right?
Why are you feeling shy now?
No, it's not an argument. It's about your point of view, your opinion.
No shame.
No, India winning this.
You know what he said? You know what he said before the podcast? He said, I don't think so. I said, why? I'm feeling very optimistic.
You know why I'll say that? Because
Why did he change it? Why did he change your stance all of a sudden? Because you're on camera now.
No. I have made my opinions clear in the past.
No? Never. Never. You.
Okay, what do you want me to say?
The
Okay,
truth.
Austria
Be
are winning the
honest.
final on
Why?
June 11.
Why?
They have a better bowling attack. They have fit players.
So why were you not coming out in the open with? I mean, it's okay.
So-
No, Raj. Why I'm saying this? Let me make my argument. If it
Now,
had
what are
been
you saying? Finally, what are you saying?
India winning the final and Rohit getting us there, and so Rohit warming up for the World Cup. That is exactly what it is for the.
No, I think that's a bit of a stretch because different formats. Don't just say that Rohit is warming up for the World Cup by playing the World Test
With
Championship.
an ICC title is what I'm saying. Getting that feeling of winning an ICC title.
I'll tell you why I feel India will break.
And
the
also in neutral venue. Both teams are not used to the conditions.
Never played a neutral value.
Yeah.
London, hot London, by the way, is going to be 50-50 as well because Australia have Nathan Lyon.
Yes.
India's top order suspect against spin, whether they like it, whether Indian fans like it or not, whether other journalists like it or not, it's a fact.
Yes, it is.
India can't play spin, some of them in the top order. I mean, Rahane is an exception, Pujara is an exception, Shreyas Iyer would have been an exception,
Yes.
but you have struggled against spin. But I think overall, if it's as bright, if it's as hot, India have that slight edge because you'll also be able to perhaps extract some reverse swing.
Yes.
If the ball sort of.
And also, Ben Stokes made a very good point after the Ireland test. After the Ireland fought back very well in the second innings.
Exactly.
Yes.
172 and 362. 362 is what they scored in the second innings. And he said there are chances of pitches getting better on the third and fourth day.
It has happened in England.
Yeah,
It
so
has happened in
If
England.
that happens, we have to completely relook what the strategy is. You have to go for the kill in the first innings. You have to set a big score in the first innings. You can't be content with like 250, 300.
No.
The big scores have been the problem, by the way. We haven't scored big
Exactly.
for a long
Yeah.
time, even at home.
Yeah.
And even at home, you've had to rely on the lower order to bail
Yes,
you out.
yes.
Akshay Patel was India's best batsman in the Border Gavaskar Trophy.
Mm.
You had runs from Jadeja, you had runs from Ashwin,
Mm.
right? Perhaps that is the kind of strength you need in the WTC final as well. I mean, this cycle has been all about India's lower order
Yeah.
pulling them out of trouble. Before we go,
Yeah.
please, to all our viewers or listeners, please do write into us on India Today. Sorry, what's that? Pods at indiatoday.com.
Yeah.
And ping us on 8588 966 And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever it is, any of your audio streaming platforms, leave your comments, rate us, tell us how horrible we have been over the last 1 year, and whether or not you want Akshay to make a straight face and start speaking the truth for a change.
India winning the World Test Championship.
I mean, that is my truth, that is his truth. I'm not sure that is your truth because that's not what you said before the podcast started rolling.
No, I've analysed all the
All
arguments from both
All our
sides.
listeners and viewers have also analyzed
Yes.
what a double standard hypocrite you are. Start speaking the truth. Thank you so much for joining in. Come back again. Tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah. Tomorrow I'll speak the truth. Yes.
So he's just admitted he
Yes,
lied. Right. On that note then. Thank you.